inflation. Inflation is a decrease in the purchasing power of money, reflected in a general increase in the prices of goods and services in an economy. In other words, it's why shit is getting so damn expensive. Inflation is why 1 year of college tuition, including housing, books, and other fees, went from around $5,000 in 1985 to about $30,000 today. And every year, the cost of other goods like gas, food, rent, and just about everything else goes up. Which means that if you make $15 an hour, that $15 has less buying power today in 2021 than it did a year ago. Because now your rent's gone up $200, gas is 50 cents more a gallon, and you have to spend $100 more a month on groceries. I mean, the cost of raw steak alone this year is up almost 25%. And this is why many employers give their employees what's called a cost of living raise. This is done to balance out the effects of inflation. So if you've ever made the same amount of money for a few years, you might have noticed it gets harder and harder to survive on. And some people like to blame this on the individual for being irresponsible with their money. But inflation is a big reason why that same money you've been making just doesn't seem to go as far. Cost of living is going up whether you get the raise or not. So if inflation is constantly happening, why is it such a hot topic in the news right now? While every year there's an average inflation of about 1 to 3%, after a catastrophe like a world war or a global pandemic, for example, inflation rates can skyrocket as businesses do everything they can to keep their doors open. And that's exactly what's happening now. But what is the actual cause of this inflation surge? Well, one cause is manufacturing having to shut down during the pandemic. Quarantines and other limitations brought a lot of manufacturers to a screeching halt, and that unexpected gap in production is being felt right now. Regulations are being lifted and people who've been cooped up are rushing out to spend their money. So the supply has gone down, demand has gone up, and prices are soaring. That's just how supply and demand works. But still, according to a Morning Consult Politico poll that was released in November of this year, more than half of Americans believe that Biden's policies are the reason for the inflation surge. Republicans have tried to claim that his COVID relief bill is what triggered it. But in reality, where I like to spend most of my time, his predecessor Donald Trump signed off on about $1 trillion more in COVID relief spending. So inflation was really inevitable, and it's not necessarily Trump's fault either. It was caused by a global pandemic, which we did not foresee and were not prepared for. In spite of this, the economy is roaring back, and consumer spending is up despite the fastest inflation since the 80s. Prices are up on just about everything, from General Mills cereals to everything at Dollar Tree. The average price of a gallon of gas is up more than 60% from last year. Gas prices are so high that Biden greenlit a release of oil from our stockpile, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But honestly, even Biden himself has admitted that this is a drop in the bucket, and in order for the gas prices to actually go down significantly, OPEC Plus would have to put more oil on the market, and we have no control over that. Another move that Biden could make to ease inflation would be lifting the tariff on Chinese imports and reversing Trump's trade war policy with China, which he has yet to do. Unemployment claim rates are the lowest since 1969, but we are still 4 million jobs shy of the labor market pre-pandemic levels. This drop in unemployment probably has something to do with wages and salaries being up a whole 0.8% from last year. But with inflation up more than 5% over the same period, consumers are still being impacted by the rising costs. And even with personal income up, personal savings are down, meaning people are making more money, but having to spend it even faster. So if the inflation rate doesn't drop back down soon, the Fed will have to step in. Consumer sentiment is way down, and I feel like there's only so high that these prices can go before people stop buying or start shopping somewhere else. Something's gotta give soon. I hope this video helped you understand a little better what's going on. I hope everybody has a good holiday season. Be there for your loved ones and be safe. Peace.